You know, I should make my own manga. I think that would be really fun. Yeah, I think that would be very enjoyable. Wouldn't be mentally draining at all. And it would barely take any time out of my life.
Hamburger.
I've been writing and reading comics since I was a little kid. When I was young, I would read comics like Dogman and Big Nate, but now the types of comics I read are mostly manga. And with that, I thought I would write the first chapter of my own original manga series and guide you guys through my process to help some of you create your own comics too. Anyway, let's get into it. So the very first thing I did was study a lot of manga. At first I started studying manga created by professional manga creators that have been doing manga for years, which got a bit overwhelming. So I started studying manga created by people like me, who are doing this with little experience to see how they develop their stories and characters. But after I did enough studying, I felt a little bit more comfortable with actually starting my own piece, which led me to the second step of the process, writing out the script for my chapter. The first chapter of a comic series is very important because it's what hooks your readers into continuing to read your series or not. Now, this story has been in my head for a while. It's gotten multiple different story changes over the years, and a lot of them weren't very original, but they all follow the same premise. A kid named Zoki has cool superpowers and beats up bad guys. Okay, that's a pretty boring description. I know, so I made some changes to the story. The story follows a kid named Soki who has these unique superpowers known as an essence. Except in his world, people who have an essence are not human. They are these creatures called the Immortals, and they're almost like the devil's puppets doing his bidding. And basically, Zoki is the only hope to save humanity from these things. Except since he has an essence, many people are going to think he's an immortal too. Now, the first chapter needs to reflect this. It needs to be interesting and give some context for the series, but not too much context, since we want to have some mystery too. So, I wrote out the basic premise of what I wanted to happen in this chapter, and I also created a bunch of different characters and how they all connect, their backstories, and other important stuff. After this, it was time for some character design. Luckily, these characters have been floating around as unofficial OCs for me, but I needed to make sure that the characters actually looked good. Right now, they're not at the stage where I give them their cool costumes yet, so we're kinda stuck at a boring spot, but that's okay. The characters will develop as the series continues. I took a lot of inspiration from my two favorite mangas, My Hero Academia and Gachiakata, because both of them have very cool character designs. Gachiakata has this amazing post-apocalyptic style going for it, and My Hero has very cool superhero and supervillain costumes that I can use to help me create costumes for my characters. I created some quick characters and costume designs that would show up later in the series, but I mostly focused on designing the characters that would show up in this chapter with their current costumes. After that, I started working on the storyboard. I had no idea why, but storyboarding was one of the hardest parts of this project for me. I think trying to put my ideas for how I want this project to look on paper is kind of hard. Storyboarding is a vital step for any sort of project, but it also shows what it would look like and how you will execute it, trying to decide how each panel would show what's going on. Like I said, for some reason the storyboarding was really difficult and mentally draining for me. Once I finally finished and took a mental break, I could now work on the art. I was very relieved to be done with the hard part of this project and would now be able to move on to the much quicker and easier part. Bro, guys, it has literally been like 5 or 6 days since I finished the storyboards, and I'm only just now getting done with page 2. I'm so glad I only did 10 pages for this thing. Oh my gosh, guys, I almost forgot. Making this manga is not a part of my career, so I have to work on this in my free time, which is making it take way longer than it needs to be. Even though I didn't have too much time to work on this manga, I still wanted to put effort into the art to make it actually look good, hopefully. And honestly, with the manga being in black and white, since mangas are traditionally colorless, even though it definitely made it a lot easier and quicker to work on the comic, it honestly kind of limited myself artistically too. Like, I just want to make this wall red, but I can't because no color allowed. Anyway, I don't really have much to say about the actual art process, but basically what I would do is I would start off by drawing all of the panel boxes, then I would go on one panel at a time, do the line art, clean up the line art, color, and then shade. Some panels turned out a lot better than others, some look like crap. We don't talk about this one. And some I really liked how they turned out. But before I knew it, I was finally done. Actually, no, not before I knew it. This literally took me way longer than it should have. It was 10 pages, people. 10 pages, that's not a lot. Sorry, I'm just salty. Anyway. Oh my gosh, dude. We are finally done. Okay, so that was my manga development process in full detail. I'm not good at this. Anyway, you guys can read the chapter on Webtoons, and I'll put the link to the Webtoons in the description. I've been pretty excited to work on this video for a while. I got the video idea in like mid-December, but I decided not to work on it until the new year. Anyway, I'm happy with this being the first long-format video to come out in 2026 on my channel, and I can't wait to see how this series develops over time and to continue working on it. After a break, obviously. I need to study a little bit before I get back into this. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.